There's a couple of us floating around. Especially, there's like 60 in New York. So, yeah, there's a lot of it. Yeah, the scene's grown to, since we started like in '02 when there was like a couple of people, not really doing it, but yeah.
So where did you start this whole thing? Did you start as a young guy or
Oh my gosh, yes, that's right. On my bio, yeah. Well, I started I was like, man, when I was like 7 or 8, around the time in '78 when like Star Wars was out. Like I was I could I used to, you play with your toys, you build and all that stuff, and you make the noises of the thing. So I would make the noise, but they sounded a little bit better than, what the average kid does. It's like, so I was always kind of set off from that, because I have these sounds. But then I found, when I was young, my cousin had a deep voice. So when I was 7 or 8, he would talk, my cousin Junebug, and I used to like his deep voice, so I tried to talk like him. And the deeper I go, the more it just sounds like this. So it just changed. So imagine doing that like you're 7 or 8 years old, and you're like, oh my, people were like, what's going on with this guy? My grandmother was like, that boy got the devil in him. It's like, no, Grandma, I have a talent.
But how do you pronounce your name? Is it Masai or Masai?
It's Masai, like the tribe from Kenya, Africa. Okay. Yeah, means warrior.
Warrior.
Yeah, in Kenya, in African, it means warrior, and in Japanese, it means prosperity flowing free like the water. So I like to take that one too, because I want to affirm that one.
Well, I'll take both.
Yeah.
So, AKA, what is your name? Is that your actual name?
My actual name is Masai. That's my government name. Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful thing. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, my mother. I learned to. I grown to appreciate it. Once when I was younger, of course, you want a name like everybody else. But when I got older and I realized what it meant and the power behind it, then I appreciated it definitely.
So you actually added on the Electro.
Yeah, my friend actually in like '85, my friends did that because beatboxing was out, and before beatboxing was out, like I said, I used to do the sound. So first thing I had was that voice, so I could talk like that. So Star Wars came out, so you're trying to do like Darth Vader, which I would do. So I got the whole Darth Vader skit. And then around the '80s, everything was like vocoders. All the songs were vocoders. They all had the Roger Troutman synthesizer. So I used to love them songs. So I would listen to those songs, and I found that I could actually talk like the computer. So one of my favorite groups was the Fearless Four, the old school with the like Curtis, Yeah, so they had a song called "Problems of the World Today" in '83, and at the end of it, it has a vocoder where the guy just talks in the computer. I can't even really do it. It was the high pitch thing. Now from the field of surf, I'm sure and he talks from the sound to the rise under. So he talks like that through the whole thing. And I used to love that as a kid. I used to walk around 13 years old, just walk around the neighborhood doing that, in school, because I like the way it verbs off the wall. And so I first had the voice. So I joined a breakdance group. We had a manager who was a civil rights attorney. He did stuff in Zimbabwe and marches with people, and he has a book out called "Ending Apartheid" in America. He was the Natalie Cole's attorney. That's where I grew up in Springfield, Mass. He was the Ninja Turtle creators' attorney. He was Mark Wahlberg's attorney. From Marky Mark. But so we had him as a manager, and I would introduce the group in my robot voice. You know what I mean? Introducing while they would break dance. And then a few years later, I did a talent show. I joined this local rap group called Death Force. And they had management. So anytime like some groups came to my hometown, which is Springfield, Mass, we would get to open up for them. So we opened for Ready for the World, The System, Jazzy Jeff, Fresh Prince, and Hartford Civic Center, Roxanne Shante, Biz Marquis, and Setsasonic, and Kings of Rap. So that was in the 80s. So, and then we also did like the local television, news, all that. And you can actually find the news articles, any of the old news articles, on a website called genealogybank.com. You go there and you type in like my name, my government, or my stage name, and like about 6 articles will come up on, 6 newspaper articles will come up about us. Our rap singles, we had some records out.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Springfield, Massachusetts.
Oh wow! I was
Yeah,
expecting
yeah,
you to say uptown, or so you said.
yeah. I've been in
Massachusetts.
New York since '93. I moved there in '93. So.
What do you live by on a day-to-day basis?
Oh wow, that's deep. That's deep. Well, I just try to put out what I want other people. First I live by the golden rule. I treat people the way I want to be treated. I'm very big into affirmations, and I actually have a book. What I've been doing since this downtime, I took a book and I wrote down everything I've done in my life career wise. I wrote down goals that I've had and everything. I have a book of positive affirmations. Everyone's Words of Wisdom is one of my favorite books to read. And Michael Winslow from Police Academy, he gave me some books to read that one's a numerology book. Very awesome books. But my model is that's basically it. I just try to I'm about positive vibes. I like to have a good time. I put good energy out because that's the energy that I want back. So that's the way I live. And I also just learned something recently. I had read it was something by Confucius that I forgot what it said, but it was basically said, even when people treat you a certain way, don't react with emotion, because our people, we're very emotionally reactive. And it said, don't get excited, don't get upset, just be grateful, so, and learn to be appreciative, and if something happens, you accept that happens and you work on either changing it if it's something you don't like, or you be grateful and have gratitude and just leave that at that,
I mean, that can actually stem from your experiences
Mm-hmm.
the last maybe 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
as far as memorable, either bad or good.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something that actually changed your life, even while you were doing what you were doing? Was there something in between, or simultaneously, that changed your life?
I really, really, really tried to live very, very simple.
Right.
I don't have any kids. I keep my overhead low. I focus on the goals that I want. That's one of the things that helped me to be, to accomplish things. I used to be in like a spiritual group, and they said when you're running this race of life, like the Romans, they used to run, and they would have as little bit of garments on as possible because they wouldn't get, the wind restriction wouldn't slow them down.
Right.
They wouldn't focus on the sidelines, and that's what I kind of try to do with my life. So try to focus on,
Your story is very unique.
Yeah. That's the thing that actually keeps me going. That stands out is that I've learned is that uniqueness. So when I got booked, and I still get booked, just turned 50, I still get booked for commercials. Yeah, I keep it, for when I need to use it for whatever purpose that I need to use it, and
What do you think would be familiar to others? So if you're now doing this in this day and age, the millennials, what do you think would be familiar to them at this point?
Another thing that's good for me is I just do the songs that they I do cover songs. My specialty is covers, so that that's the thing that it's like kind of not really. It can be dated if you do old school, so you can blend. You can be an old school artist, and you can do like before I let go. So I can go like my parents, old school party at the VFW. I can rock their crowd. Then I can go to I can go to an older generation and do some, or younger generation and do one of their songs.
For my mother, what would you do for her?
For my what?
For my mother's generation.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was just thinking my aunt and talking about my aunt that had just transitioned, and she used to like she liked Prince, she liked Misty Blue, she liked Millie Jackson.
Yeah.
So
All of that good stuff.
Yeah. I would do. I can do some of those. Some of a lot of pretty much. I have a very, very, very wide range of stuff. Yeah, and I do classical too. So that's how I got. Further down, I got into this corporate group, Rhythm Slam on the West Coast, and the guy's name. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but he was he used to be he's good friends with Madonna. He transitioned in like 2016, but his name was Frank Baum, and he became like this successful guy, and 20 years of corporate clients. So we would fly, like they take basically all-star cast. So like these are top-notch people in their field. So my partner was this kid Jason Yang, who's Madonna's violinist, Scott. Scotty Nguyen and Scott Bombalakis and Jason JJ. JJ he's a choreographer for Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears. So when we flew to Vegas in the All-Star game, we did them in 2006 and 2007. And he actually invited me to go to meet me and my manager to meet Christina and Britney, but we didn't have time because I had got tickets from this guy when I was performing at for Adidas. He gave me tickets to go see Jimmy Walker. So we went to go check out Jimmy Walker and I think Cheryl Underwood and what's that dude? He's so funny. He talks
A comedian?
Yeah, black comedian talk like this. Kind of funny old black man. George Wallace. Yeah, he's funny. So he was hilarious. So we went to go meet him instead, and they were like doing the.
Tell me what we should expect from you within the next
From me? Oh man. Well, like I said, I've done so much. Oh my God. So I've already done. Wow. So I've done a voice for a cartoon called The Sensibles. So the next thing for me in terms of that I'm actually working on right now is if you look at my Facebook page, I did a showcase. I performed for this artist called Lexus, LXXS, and that was she's under Sony in Manhattan. So you'll see the pictures of me with the A&R, Larry. I'm in a white suit, and there's a brother with a bald head and his wife. They're the A&R and executive producer for Sony Music. So my producer, who does our Beatbox documentaries, is her best friend. So she hooked me up with that gig. So my next thing, he loved what we did when we did a Beatbox showcase for their artists. So my next thing is I'm writing ideas down. I'm in Jersey right now, but when I get back to the city, I'm trying to set up a meeting with them so I can do some songs for some of the projects that they may have coming out.
Well, now that you mention it, where can we find you on Instagram?
Yeah, just my name. Yep, Masai Electro on Instagram, Masai Electro on YouTube, Masai Electro on Facebook, and I just did my TikTok thing, but I haven't put no videos up yet because I gotta lose some weight. Gotta burn that COVID weight off. I ain't putting up. I'm not gonna get on the YouTube, TikTok looking like Professor Clump. You know what I mean? I gotta burn that weight.
You're crazy. So now, let me ask you this: who do you credit your venture? All of these good things that are happening to you. Who do you credit?
Well, one of the biggest pivotal moment that changed my life, and as far as like my career on the New York scene when I moved to New York, took a while, but 2002, met this dude called Terry Kid Lucky Lewis. And unfortunately, he just passed October 23rd, but he's basically the pioneer. He's like our P. Diddy. So he was the one that spearheaded the movement, got the beatboxers on the scene, got them paid, got us shows, and he has a Wikipedia, and you'll see my name under his mention in his Wikipedia if you go and look up Terry Kid Lucky Lewis. And so he was the one that would get me shows. So kind of grew through him, but then just like anything, some people kind of want to keep control when you grow as a person and as an artist. I call it. He had the Joe Jackson syndrome, where he wanted to keep everybody, kind of keep them under his wing, even when they're grown and matured as artists and adults. You ever see the Jackson movie? That movie, The Jackson? Yeah, when they're grown men and they left the towel at the pool. He's like, Marlon, who left the towel at the pool? Michael, Marlon, y'all gonna get it? And she's like, Joe, that grown man, go to bed. Well, that's what he's like. He's like that Joe Jackson guy. So I had to kind of do my own thing. Fortunately, that's when I met I got the call, and I perfect timing because I just lost my job in 05, and I got a call, and I was not trying to think about performing at the time because I needed that 9-to-5 money. And then I get a call from, this guy kept calling me, this white guy, he kept calling me, Masai, I heard about you, we want you to do, but he wouldn't give me details, so I didn't know. And then this guy named Frank Baum flew me out to LA, gave me a $600 per diem, and then they just videotaped me doing all my sound effects, walking around, you know, doing my sound effects going around the Hollywood area. Took me out to dinner, and then we did some rehearsals. And next thing you know, a month later, they booked me to do some shows with them. So they would fly me over. I mean, they flew everywhere. They had booked me for Hawaii, and I missed the ticket because I didn't check my email. But they fly all over the world, these guys, and they do high-end corporate shows. So like Chevron, Texaco, and it's amazing. What he does is he takes, like I said, all-star people that are top in their field, individual performers, and puts them together like an all-star cast. And he has corporate clients, and then he will create concepts based on whatever the corporate theme is whatever the theme is of the event, like Toyota moving forward. So I did Toyota car sounds. We did for Chevron, Texaco. I was fortunate. We did one for Magic Johnson for his medical supply company, the one that supplies his AIDS medicine, Kimberly Clark, and that was pretty good. Oh man, wow! What do I think that my things for people that follow me are afraid of? I mean, I really couldn't say. I would say what generally people are afraid of is, what are people afraid of? Afraid of change. People are afraid to change. That's one thing people are afraid of. But I was just reading. So I have a good quote that I just read about fear, and it's besides the basic one you hear about that it's a false evidence appearing real. There's another one. So I try to embrace it and just run into it. Because behind that wall, usually once you get past the fear and the insecurity behind that wall, there's usually some blessings or something that you're holding yourself back from. So, so instead of, being afraid, kind of look forward to it. Every time in my life, I think this goes back to one of your questions. When I've been through a situation where, even like the COVID thing, blessed that we're doing good and, financially, and I'm very, very blessed. For whatever the reason, fortunate, but I think every time I look back in my life, even when I went through like every down period, like they say things come in cycles, but every time there was something negative in my life, sometimes everybody has that point you feel like you can't get through something, and then boom, you get through it, and then there's always something bigger and better right there waiting for you. It's always, for some reason, it always happens to me. If I lost a job, then I get a gig for a commercial or a big band show or a better job with more money and better opportunities. It's always something. So now, if I come to that cycle in my life, I almost look forward to it because I feel like something good is about to happen. I'm like, all right, something's coming. Yeah, something's coming. So, I guess that comes with age or wisdom. I don't know, but that's what I've learned in my life. So,
you seem like a lot of the community has really supported you. Do you feel the support still, or is it the same?
Yeah,
as it was 10 years
definitely. Yeah, no, I feel it. I get personal. I mean, I've got personal calls. My friend that was my producer, like I said, in the 80s when I was making local records, he's a producer in Florida now, and we talk, and we can't believe some of the people that, that it's like we didn't know. Like, people will still write us or Facebook comment, and we don't know them personally. And it's like, wow, we impacted people's lives, and it's like we planted these seeds. I call it planting seeds. It's like you don't know. A guy to this day who's a big producer. He produced for 50 Cent and OG Unit in the early 2000s. He was, when my group kind of disbanded and became like managers, they managed him, and now he grew from that, becoming a big producer, moving to New York. And he always talks about me as a big fan, and I don't, to the life of me, do not even remember this guy. But I'm still cool with him. Yeah, I always stay cool. I stay quiet, and he manages these 2 apartments in Williamsburg now, and he was with these big Jewish producers that they produce for everybody. Just name anybody they produce for them. So anybody. It was Mariah, it was Beyonce, and so they're looking at me like I'm nobody. I'm a guest in this. This was two years ago. It was the second Christmas for holiday party, and he's telling them all about me like he's a fan, and the guy's looking at me like I'm nothing. You know what I mean? So I didn't care. That's what they do. But this guy's bigging me up like he's still a teenager, and he's looking up to me. And I was just like, wow, and I don't even remember him at all.
Oh no.
But I'm at his house, so that's again planting those seeds.
Well, yeah,
It's something else. Yeah,
he
but it's
definitely
something else, and it's amazing to me. It's like, but and I get that, so I have learned just to be, just take it as it is, and just be like I said, have gratitude, be grateful.
I gotta say peace to Kid Lucky. We
have for
haven't
your
seen each other
mission
for a
is
Yeah,
long
and
time.
that's another producer that I plan
It
to
means a lot, man.
to work with. He's done he's produced a lot of stuff. So.
Open for
well,
Missy
that's when you
Elliott.
know that your
I did
mission
so much stuff.
was
I
an
just did the
impact.
voice of a new cartoon on
Mm-hmm.
It was good for
ABC
something,
this
you know.
Yeah,
year.
you never know who you're gonna impact or how. So it's best always if you're gonna put a foot forward or plant a seed, always try to leave a good mark because you don't know who is who or who's going to become who later down the road. And I don't even do it just for that. I
Yeah, that's what I'm
just for
saying.
me, I just do it.
You
That's the
don't know.
because that's what you're supposed to do.
You won't know
So thanks to
until
Yeah.
later down the
Jupiter,
line. You don't know whose problems
and
you've solved. I've
my friend
listened to
here,
so
aren't
many
you in
songs that
Stiletta?
have
Is it Stiletta?
lifted my
Yeah,
spirits
nice.
during
Right.
that
She
time
knows. She
of
knows.
my
She be
life.
traveling. She be doing
You know,
things.
Mm-hmm.
so
But
it all
I wouldn't be
depends
doing
on
a lot of
when you
that if it
step
wasn't
in.
for the man right here, Kid Lucky.
When you step
So
in, you
big shout
felt
out to him, man.
that
We
it
haven't
should
seen each other
happen.
for a minute, so
It
I
should
just
have
want to
been that way.
give you
Right.
his respect.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm just gonna try to
So
give
I
you guys
mean,
a little bit
I
of
gotta
what
say
I do,
thank you, man.
and this all
You
is
for
coming
taking
from
the
me.
time out to talk
Are
to
you
me.
guys ready?
Well, I appreciate you. I like doing interviews. So I really, it's therapeutic. You get to express yourself. We like to talk about ourselves. Most people, their favorite topic of this kind of discussion is themselves. So,
Right.
so I appreciate it as well.
Absolutely, and I'm sure hopefully we can touch these young cats and let them
Yeah.
see what you got going on. Because I actually love doing the history behind everything. I know that they
Mm-hmm.
probably don't even know half. They still think
Yeah.
that Beyonce is the first person that sang "Before I Let Go," so I have a problem with that.
Yeah, and yeah, or Britney Spears was, the first person.
Right.
It's like, no, that wasn't,
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. And I always try to tell people too, because this is the issue we're having now. There's a disconnect between the newer and the younger generations, and they don't realize you didn't get it by yourself.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Just like we didn't. And I have a favorite. The last interview I did for a magazine, I told the guy, I said a quote from my friend has a quote, Kenny Muhammad. He's another incredible beatboxer with the Nation of Islam. And he said that his grandmother always used to say, it ain't about you and it ain't about me. Because these younger cats, and I understand that, they think it's the look at me, watch me generation, and I'm not from that cloth. So, but that hurts me because I don't put a lot of stuff on the internet, which can hurt you because you don't get the internet, the internet likes and all of that stuff.
Well,
So,
for those of the people that we're talking about, I don't want to name any names. For them, can you take us out with a little something for our readers?
Oh, absolutely. Oh man, now you done got me. Give me 1 second. Let me get into my.
Sure.
Yeah, let me get into my. Let me see. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. That's why I clear my throat. And this is all coming just from me.
That was dope. Thank you so much, Messiah. That was
Oh, it was a pleasure.
lucky. We not gonna stop to get lucky. We not going out to get lucky. She's up all night to get lucky. I'm up all night to get lucky. You're up all night to get lucky. They're up all night to get lucky. We're 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 up all night to get lucky.
We're up all night to get sun. She's up all night to get sun. We're up all night to get fun. She's up all night to get lucky. We're 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 up all night to get lucky.
We're up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to get lucky. Sweet dreams are made of me. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world for 70. Everybody is looking for something.
Check it out.
3 things, 1 freedom, increase. Around and wide through this up to 3. Travel the world for some planners, planners, stingers. Everybody wanting to looking for something. Thank you for your cooperation.